So, can the GOP plan kill the bill? Is there a strategy? Is it possible? Well, let's ask Senate Republican Conference Chair, Mr. John Barrasso of Wyoming. Senator Barrasso, thank you, sir, as always. And let's just begin. Can you kill the bill?
Well, we're going to do everything we can on the floor of the United States Senate. You know, they have to have 50 members there all the time to cast the votes. They need the vice president there to break the tie. But we're going to bring amendments on the issues that the American people really care about. Crime, inflation, energy, the border, all of the things that the Democrats are ignoring as they're trying right now to raise taxes, increase government spending, and put more regulations in place at the time of high inflation and a recession. It's absolutely reckless.
You know, our friend Steve Moore over at Committee to Unleash Prosperity put out his report today. In the last 18, 19 months, you put together all these bills, Senator Barrasso, you're talking about close to $4 trillion of new spending. And that, of course, includes the CHIPS Plus bill that just passed, a week or 10 days ago, along with the potential for this bill. $4 trillion in new spending at a time when I thought there was a consensus, even in Washington, that high federal spending causes inflation. It's like there's this collective amnesia going on down there.
Well, you would have thought that when they spent $1.9 trillion all along partisan lines over a year ago, and they said it won't cause inflation, and now you see record high, 40-year high inflation, that they would have learned the lesson. Obviously, they haven't learned the lesson. And now you have Joe Biden and Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer joining arms, and they might think they're the Three Musketeers, but to me, it's, it's Larry, it's Moe, it's Curly in the wooden raft heading over Niagara Falls with the economy. That what they're doing is absolutely reckless. It's wrong. Should have learned by the spending last year. And even the people that Joe Manchin says he goes to for economic advice, like Penn Wharton, they say it's going to add to inflation. He's now ignoring all of that.
You know, Senator Manchin and some others are now attacking the Joint Tax Committee for their estimates that taxes will go up pretty much across the board. The biggest hit will be middle class and lower middle class, and that the corporate tax increase, the 15% minimum tax on business investment, for example, will be felt most heavily by working folks. But that's career staff produces those numbers. They've been there forever, and they're no great friends of conservatives or supply-siders. I mean, I'm just saying those numbers are real. Now the Democrats are attacking those numbers, but those numbers are real, and they're not our allies. They're usually Democratic allies.
And they know that the burden of the taxes are going to be on the working men and women in this country. The people that are just trying to fill their tank with gas, they're trying to buy a whole week's worth of groceries when they go to the store, and they're hoping that at the end of the month there's a couple of dollars left over to finish off paying their bills. I mean, here we are at the beginning of August, and a lot of people in July ran out of money before they ran out of month. Those are the folks that I'm concerned about, and why I think that this decision by the Democrats and Joe Manchin to join them is going to hurt America significantly in the weeks, months, and even years ahead, because there is no end in sight. I think inflation is here for a long time, Larry.
You know, I wanted to shine some light, Senator, on this IRS business. So as I understand it, they're allocating $80 billion to the IRS to hire some 86,000 agents. But basically, that 86,000 agents, I mean, we've seen this movie before. They're going to go right after small businesses, including, self-owned, proprietor-owned business. That's all that is. And we've tried this before, and it's bad for business, bad for morale. It's very coercive, and they're not going to make $126 billion in new revenues out of that. That's part of the phony, gimmicky scoring here, isn't it?
Well, it is. They want to weaponize and supersize the Internal Revenue Service, not to provide better services to taxpayers, but to actually go after taxpayers. When you take a look at 86,000 new IRS agents, auditors, they don't need that many people to take a look at a couple of rich folks. These are coming after families, farmers, small businesses, all of those folks. And for the Democrats to say, oh, we're going to put $80 billion into that so we can raise over $100 billion more out of it, I mean, they're talking about this as an investment, and I look at it as an attack on American taxpayers who are just trying to do the right thing, Larry.
Yeah, it's always the case. It's always the case. It's so coercive. People just hate this. And they're not going to get the yield that they think they are. Senator, I know it's always tricky business, but what are we hearing from the Kyrsten Sinema camp?
Yeah, well, as I said, she has a spine of steel. She's tough as nails, and she is not going to easily be bent. I visited with her earlier today. She'll make her own decisions and announce it at her own time. She has been opposed to this prior to this. I'm sure that there's going to be tremendous pressure on her, but we're going to find out and hear from her. But I hope she holds firm and doesn't agree to the things that we know are going to hurt the economy, hurt the working men and women of our nation.
I don't want to pry into private conversations. I know how it works up there, but there is at least a rumor, I'll call it, that Senator Sinema would like to have an amendment to this thing that just gets rid of the 15% minimum tax, because she understands the detrimental effect on business investment and working class wages. Is there any truth to that?
Well, there are a lot of rumors abound, and we'll see what happens in all of this. But when you talk about these taxes, Larry, I want to get rid of all of these things the Democrats are trying to put in here, because all of the jobs that we were able to bring back to the United States as a result of our bill in 2017, my worry is it's going to push those jobs back overseas. I mean, the National Association of Manufacturers is talking about hundreds of thousands of lost jobs in manufacturing and production of things here at home. These are all problems that hurt our economy at the worst time to do this. We're at record high inflation, and they want to raise taxes and spend more money, and at the same time we're in a recession. We call it stagflation. This is just a bad approach by the Democrats at a time when the country needs relief, not more pressure.
All right, we'll leave it there. Senator John Barrasso, thank you, sir. We appreciate it very, very much.